still.
But Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, before we dive deeper into what we're going to discuss, we've spoken about how you changed your mindset and it led you to a greater path, So do you think nowadays, in our time, a lot of young people are scared to settle down because of finances?
Oh yeah, of course. Because you see, in this generation, it's even more complex.
Yeah.
Because we now live in a more materialistic generation than when we were.
Yes.
I was on a program yesterday, and I was sharing with them what happened on another program I was 2 weeks ago on a virtual program in Houston. How that a guy spent 10 million doing the proposal. Your generation to propose.
Yeah.
Go book all. Get keyboard, decoration to propose. And then the guy will be acting surprised. So it shock you. And then even to get the proposal. And then you spend 10 million on proposal. Now you want to do premarital counseling, and we say it's 1,500 for 8 sessions. And you say it's too expensive. It just shows you the mindset of our generation. So you are ready to spend 10 million to propose, and you are ready to spend money on a wedding, but you're not ready to spend money on what will keep that marriage going. So in this generation, money matters a lot because a lot of relationship has become so transactional, and a lot of things have become monetized. That many of the things that the process you have to go through to become is now called suffering. I can't suffer with anyone. There is a process. A pregnancy has to go through 9 months. So it doesn't matter whether you fast for 100 days or whether you are the son of the richest man in the world. 9 months is 9 months. If you want it in 3 months, then you don't want a child. So what we call process, they call suffering. So people are not ready to go through the process. They just want ready-made man, ready-made house. Oh yeah, I must bill him more. If you don't know, you must pay me salary. Hello, what's the problem? And so for me, a lot of people are not settling that because they think that they need to have everything before they marry. But if you have everything, you end up becoming one of the things. Because at the end of the day, if I'm marrying you and I have everything, you are just one of the acquisition. What are you bringing to the table? And they say, no, I am the table. How can you be the table? How can you be the table? You must be bringing something to the table. And many times when we say, what are you bringing to the table? People think that it's about money. Are you wise? Are you good? Are you encouraging? So when I say, what are you bringing to the table? You must be bringing something to the table. If, okay, I'm a millionaire, I'm marrying you. Do you have the wisdom to marry the million? At least bring wisdom to the table. Bring management skill to the table. If I'm a man and I have everything sorted out and you want to live the soft life and you just want to be a baby girl and you want me to take care of you, but when I'm depressed, can you comfort me? When things are not going on fine, can you pray for me? Can you prophesy? So what are you bringing to the table? It's not about money. So many of the people that we have in our world today, they don't get it. So for me, yes, it's affecting a lot of people, but you need to understand that you should not allow it to affect you because there are some realms of blessings that can never happen until you marry. And only married people will understand this. You see, when you study the scripture, it says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. It means there is a chapter in the world of favor that can never happen until you marry. So it is only married people that enjoy that kind of favor. And if you've seen married people, you will hear that before they got married, some things were not happening.
Yes.
As they just fixed wedding date like this. Have you gotten cake? I will do your cake. I will favor. If to say I know say this thing will come, I don't marry you. So many times what you are waiting for is waiting for you. And that's the way it works.
Also has to do with picking the right person.
Oh, sure.
That's the first thing.
That's of course, that's a given.
Every step we take, every way we live should be filled with peace, joy, and serenity. Now, if you're looking for a community that offers all these with infrastructure and the right amenities for you and your family to thrive, look no further than Mixter Africa Estates. Now, Mixter Africa, over the last 20 years, has basically been provided the kind of community, over 15 estates with 5,000 housing units that people have been thriving in. Look forward to welcoming you in one of our Mixter estates.
So, doctors, seeing that, your whole journey in wealth creation, wealth building started right after you got married, right? What do you think is the role of, finance in a marriage? You know, I'd like to get a perspective on that, because there are people who are thinking, oh, I do not have a lot of money, so therefore I should not get married. There are people even telling other people, how much do you have? I remember when I was going to get married, I had uncles tell me, look, you're Igbo, we don't get married until like we're almost 40, until we're settled. You know, you have this, you have that, you have this, you have that. So
you don't need money to marry. You need vision, or you need direction. Once you have a vision and the direction, make the decision, everything will line up. Now, so when it comes to getting married and talking about money, you also need to answer a question: what kind of marriage? Because in the world of coaching and family life counseling, we have been able to come to the conclusion that there are now 3 kinds of marriages. We have the cultural, traditional marriages, which is what many of us know from our parents. And then we have the contemporary marriage, which is what the world is trying to now flush down our throats because of contemporary men, women, and then we have what we call kingdom marriage, which is what it was supposed to be at the beginning, because marriage is not the culture of any society. It's the culture of God. God instituted it. So it's not human being that said, let's marry. God was the one that. So there is a kingdom marriage. So if you want to get married, you now need to ask yourself, what kind of marriage? So if you are talking of cultural marriages, then the man needs to have money to be able to take care of everything. And the woman does not need to have anything as long as she can sleep and give birth to children. So she comes in and become a baby factory, can be a full-time housewife. The kitchen is your... So once you are good in the kitchen and you are good in the bedroom, you are good to go. The man takes care of you and he can manipulate you, control you, abuse you, and you have nowhere to go because you have nothing to fall back on. Because you are a liability. You're just coming to be taken care of. So that's cultural marriage. So if you want to do cultural marriage, then you enjoy the benefit and then you suffer the merits. If you want to do contemporary marriage, then your law is 50-50. You can't tell me what to do. I mean, I'm not here to serve anybody. No problem. Then you face what comes with that also. But if you are doing kingdom marriage, then we now begin to understand that when you are doing kingdom marriage, God is your source. And because God is your source, your job, your career, your business is a resource. You don't put your trust in the resource, you put your trust in the source, because the source can dry, but the resource, and the resource can dry, but the source never dries up, and resources can change from time to time. So when you are coming into that kind of relationship, it is joint knowledge, joint decision. So when you are thinking of money, that means we are having joint knowledge. I must know what you have, you must know what I have, and then together we put together the resources. So it's one purse. It's not your money, my money. It is our money. So it doesn't matter where it comes from. So it may be the woman anymore. It may be the man. It doesn't matter. In a kingdom marriage, is joint knowledge. The number 2 is joint decision. Number 3 is joint planning. So we are sitting down together. Oh, you are earning 300. I'm earning 150. I am not a man because I earn more than you. I'm a man because I'm a man. So when you say the husband is not about money. So to be a husband, to be a bridegroom, is to be able to have the vision and the ability to be able to groom somebody, to be a house band, to keep things together and make sure the purpose is fulfilled. But because we have been raised from that cultural perspective, a lot of men don't see themselves as a man. So once a man has financial problem or sexual problem, he thinks he's not a man. Because that's what he has been ingrained. That's the software running him. So I say, you're the man. You know, it's like money and Odogu Parara. You have money, or you are the man in the other room. You shift waist. Say, that guy, the man, you mean? No, that's not the definition of manhood. So manhood is all about responsibility and vision and be able to put things together. So once you understand the kingdom concept, so it's joint vision. We're coming together, we have a vision together, and then it's joint knowledge. I know what you are. There's no hidden money anywhere in your maiden name. There's no separate account somewhere. So joint knowledge, then is joint planning. We plan together. So we say, look, we're getting married. Marriage is for a lifetime. Wedding is for a day. A lot of people prepare for wedding, but only few people prepare for marriage. Wedding is for a day, marriage is for a lifetime. So we say, look, we want to wear wedding gown. Where did you get the idea from? What verse of scripture supports that? What's your value? Why do you think that wearing a gown makes you a woman or makes your marriage successful? If we cannot afford it, can we do this? So we sit down together, we have a plan together. I'm not demeaning your desire, I'm not talking down your data, but I want to come together and say, come, instead of spending this money to do this, don't you think we should do this? Because many people get married, they spend like 15, 20 million, 30 million, 100 million on wedding, and then they are tenants. They drive a $12 million car in a $3 million rented apartment. And that 12 million could have gotten them a bungalow somewhere else. So we sit down, we plan, and then we decide together. And say, okay, let's do it this way. When we do that, it changes the game. Yeah.
Wow. Genuinely, honestly. But Dr. Olumide, just before we dive into the next question, I wanted to ask, so how do you then bring someone to understand that this, like now, I'm married, how do you then change the mindset of your spouse? Like, it's because listening to you, it's not something that people would base off on. Like men especially, they have a mindset that, like you said, I'm a man. I mean, because I provide for you, you have to, anything you do, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, you know how men can be. So how do you then change that mindset?
I've done singles ministry for almost 29 years.
Yeah.
I've done couples ministry for the same length of time. At the point in time in this country, I was hosting the largest singles conference in the whole of the continent.
Wow.
Wisdom for Singles in the 90s, 98, 99. So we did that for like 6 years. So I have come to the conclusion. Last year I celebrated 35 years in full-time ministry.
Wow.
I've come to the conclusion
Congratulations,
that a lot of married people should not be married. I've come to that conclusion. That majority of the problem we have today is ineffective courtship. A lot of people get married before discovering themselves. So what we are trying to do is to correct something that was wrong.
Yeah.
Because see, the Bible says what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. But the one way God no join.
The people will just enter, we don't know what they want
Many
to
of
do.
the God didn't join. But when we talk about the will of God, it's before marriage. Once you marry, it has become His will. You have to, if you don't love what you have, if you don't have what you love what you have. You have to work it. So many of the marital problem, they shouldn't have been married in the first place. Because you don't manufacture your weapons of war on the battlefield. So many people get married to discover this because see, ineffective courtship is the major reason. Because many people court, but they don't court effectively. Because during courtship, let's go for a movie, let's have camp, let's go on a date night. They are not praying, they are not planning, they are not doing counseling, they are not doing coaching. All the questions they should ask, they are not asking. We run a premarital counseling course that we do for people. And this was born out of my own experience. Like, I think I know this, we need to, people must not suffer what I've suffered. Let's change, let me use my own failure to help other people. So we settled, I have what I call the common sense Q&A. People have gotten engaged, and when they want to get married and they come for the training, we just give them a form to fill 101 questions. We give the man, we give the woman, they go separately to go and fill the form. And when they complete the form, we now swap. And then the man takes the form of the woman. Then, you didn't tell me this one now. I didn't know. You mean? So what have you people been doing? And you have been cutting for 4 years. People don't ask the right questions.
I agree.
They don't ask the right questions. So, unfortunately, a guy was in my office just this week crying about what he was going through. And I said, but there is no way you can tell me that this thing is happening and there was no warning signs. I said, the warning signs were there. But I just thought that it would change. People don't change. Rewarded behaviors are often repeated. And if anybody does anything in courtship and you think it's okay, when they marry, it's times 100.
Jesus Christ.
Because many times when people are courting, think of it. Because these things, that's why I say common sense is not common. If you are courting, let's assume you meet each other once a week. That means in a whole year, you only meet for 52 times. That 52 times, maybe you offended each other 4 times. In 52 times. Because the 4 times is spaced. Maybe January, then October. So you didn't realize that you are in danger. You know, say, no, we are good, we don't fight. You are lying. Because that 4 times in 52 times, by the time you now get married, you are now living together in the same space. 52 times is 1.5 months. That's 6 weeks. So if in 6 weeks, you have 4 issues, you see how your life can be upside down. 6 weeks now, not 5. That is in 6 weeks, you fought in 4 weeks. So you now say, he has changed, she has changed. And no change. Now you don't get wisdom. You didn't realize that this is a warning sign. So that you will deal with it before you go and say, I do. Now you have said, I do, you will do. That's the way you go do. That, come and do that. So the reality is that a lot of people that are married right now, they have made mistakes, but it is never too late. So what you now need to identify is, look, my husband, my guy, my babe, I think we need to go for counseling. We need to go for coaching. And then what you are supposed to have done, you now come for the counseling and coaching, and you are ready to pay for it. And then by the time we take you through 8 weeks to 10 weeks, we'll now start, it's like you are, because in building, well, if you are doing building, renovation is more expensive than building a brand new house.
It's true.
So we now have to now go back to the foundation. Why did you marry each other? What did you see in him? What did you see in her? Because you would now be shocked to realize that what you thought he saw is not what he saw. What you thought she saw is not what she saw. You were just deceiving each other. But you know, like I said, love is blind, but marriage, you open your eyes. You thought she was beautiful. You were marrying beauty. You were marrying shape.
Yeah.
And now you are married, she's pregnant, and the shape is no more there. So what you hinge your supposed love on is no more there. So I say to people, because as a counselor, a lot of side chickism begins when the wife is pregnant. So when a lot of women are pregnant, the men are not more seeing what they used to see. It's like bellies, big, everything. What's that? And then come and do say, I'm tired. I can't do this. I'm tired. Don't touch me. The guy is now looking for alternative. So a lot of women also come because they think that, oh, this guy, by the time I marry him, he will do this, he will do that. He's going to, and then you get married to the guy, and then you realize that he's not as rich as you thought he was.
Yeah.
You realize that the car that is turning your head is loaned from the office from cooperative. Now you are now facing reality that the guy doesn't have money. You saw that the guy has traveled, he took picture. You now realize that he traveled, that you saw the first one. It was somebody that paid the second one. It was a group tour and he won a ticket. You now realize that everything are fake. And you didn't marry the man, you married what you thought was an idea of what you will get. And then you get in there and realize that the guy is insecure. So you now realize that, look, so a lot of, but by the time we now bring you, we now go back to the foundation. Then we now deal with what we call the cardinal aspect of relationship: communication, sex, money, third parties, unrealistic expectation. We pick each of them and we go down to the grassroots. By the time we are done, we'll now give you a template based on your own results. It's okay, now this is the vision of our marriage. Because if I ask you now, why did you marry? Many people, I just married because I'm supposed to marry. I want to give birth to children. That's not. So you need to have a why. Your why must be strong enough. And when you now come up with a family vision, a family motto, a family constitution, it now guides what you do. Because what we are seeing today is dysfunction, because immature young girl, immature young boy, dysfunctional girl get married, decide dysfunctional marriage, they give birth to children in the dysfunctional home and will perpetuate dysfunctionality. And that's what you see in the society. See social media today, all kinds of deceived, deluded, confused, possessed people sitting there as authority with 200 naira recharge card and airtime. And they are vomiting all kinds of stuff. When you see people talking, you know that this is trauma speaking. This person needs help. But they don't believe they need that because somebody is celebrating them online.
Yeah.
And they don't also believe that they need help because they go to church every Sunday.
They go, of course, receive it. This is your week, hey man.
Okay, but wow, honestly, if you leave me, I just want to keep talking about this marriage issue. I just want to keep talking about, but we have to go back to the root of why we're here.
Okay.
So what first attracted you to Nigerian real estate?
Okay, well, when I studied the life of rich and wealthy people 97 into 98, I realized that the principles of wealth are universal.
Yeah.
Principles are universal, but the application of those principles are personal, contextual, and geographical. So you see a lot of people, they will tell you, oh, all these people aspire to perspire, or this motivational speaker, I've tried that thing, didn't work, it's a scam. No, it's not. I like using this analogy because I've been in ministry 38 years, 35 years in ministry last year. Now, I've gotten people in nurture that came, that I joined them together. And 18 years later, they didn't have a child. And I see them every week. So I've learned through a lot of things. So if somebody is married, having sex for 18 years and they don't have a child, does it mean that sex has stopped producing baby? No. So if they now come and say sex is a scam, I've been having sex every week for 18 years, no child is a lie. All these people are deceiving us. They will be wrong. They will be sincere, but wrong. That's wrong is because sex is still the way to produce a child. You understand?
Yeah.
So now the reason why it's not working for you is not because the principle is wrong. It's because there is a context, or there is an underlying factor, or there is something that is wrong somewhere. So that's the same thing with principles. Principles are universal, but in applying those principles, it is personal. You need to look at your personal life. It's contextual. What's your own context? Because nobody is your mate. Your context is not my context. And then we look at the geography. When I now studied the life of these people, I realized that every one of them, without fail, had about 8 different things that was common to every one of them. Number one, none of them was working for anybody. They were all self-employed. They owned their own business. So I realized that depending on salary will never take me there. And I realized that only 2% of the world's wealthy people are salary earners. And they are not depending on salaries alone. They are salary earners who have now turned the salary into investment. So, number 2, I realized that every one of them without fail had multiple sources of income. Not multiple struggles, multiple sources as in sources, not struggle. Number 3, I realized that every one of them without fail had their money in real estate as the store of their wealth. Because riches are cash-based, but wealth is asset-based. So when you say a man is rich, you are talking money. When you say a man is wealthy, you are talking assets. And that asset is primarily real estate. So study any rich man or family, everything they have. When you want to look at their net worth, is real estate. They now use because real estate is the only vehicle of wealth creation that is also a vehicle of wealth retention. It doesn't just help you to create wealth, it helps you to retain it. The way it stores the value, because it edges against inflation, edges against devaluation, edges against a lot of things. So when I realized that, I'm like, you have to go into real estate. Before then, if you heard my messages, hey, this world is not my own. You don't need to have land. It's not about anything. We're going to heaven. My mansion is in heaven. That was my message before that. But I'm like,
your
I realized that faith is land. Faith is land. God is the number one real estate. Now he creates real estate.
Of course.
So he says, I will give you the land of the Hittites, the land of the Evite, the land of the... So I did like, faith is land. Whosoever owns the land determines the faith that is practiced in the land. If you are born in Pakistan, you are most likely a Muslim. Born in Saudi Arabia, you are most likely Muslim. Why? The owners of the land determine the faith. And it's also about promised land. Now land matter. So it's all about land. So I realized, I need to have my own portion. And guess what? There are only 3 people that are called Lord. Jesus is Lord, the judge is Lord, landlord. You are not a Lord until you own your portion. And everybody has a portion on earth. So your grandfather was a tenant, your father is a tenant, you are a tenant. It's not a generational curse. It's a generational choice. So once you understand land and dominion and kingdom, you take your territory. And that was when I said, I must begin to acquire land. So I bought my first plot of land. Started the negotiation in 97.
Wow.
And then 98, I bought the first plot of land in Abuja.
Wow.
Second one in Dasip, 98, 99. By 2001, I bought my first 50 acres of land.
Whoa.
That is still existing till now.
Whoa.
First estate. And then by 2003, 100 acres.
Wow.
By 2005, 200 acres. By 2008, another 70 acres in Abuja. And then on and on and on. And now we just acquired another 5,000 acres. We're building a city. So that's how the journey started. So the land I bought, the first estate I did was 50 acres in 2001.
Wow.
It took me 2 years to pay. And that land is, so we bought it for 300,000 per acre, 50,000, and now it's 50 million per plot.
Wow.
And that's how the journey has been. So I went to it because I discovered it is the vehicle for wealth creation and wealth retention. And then from there, we took it to the global level. So, and we continue in that field. And what I've done is encourage other people to do the same.
Wow.
And also help them to understand that you're a global citizen. The world has become a global village. The internet is village square. So you can be local. You stay local, but you play global. And you earn in all currencies. So,
just extract a bit. But anyways, our listeners, we've been honest, we've been practical, and now we tell you to go make that move.